So what did you think about the minister's engagement with us at the bottom of the stairs by the UN gift shop today?
Well, I'm glad she was there. I think it's important that she hear from us. I have to say what is most notable to me today and throughout this conference is how few women there are from the NGO sector in Canada that were here to speak to her and to respond to the statements that she was making and to advocate on behalf of Canadian women. I think it's symptomatic of the undermining of the capacity of women in Canadian civil society to advocate on behalf of themselves in a democratic country, and the fact that the minister spoke specifically about funding for missing and murdered Aboriginal women, and there was not a single Aboriginal women's organization here.
That's right.
To respond.
Yeah.
And I think that shows, the extent to which that this sector has been devastated by the cuts to their programming and to their capacity to advocate.
It's really shocking. And what was shocking from the Labour point of view today was just her complete and utter disregard for the themes of education, training, and decent work. She had nothing to say about it. And even, she's much more interested in this issue of honor killings, which is just so disproportionate, like in terms of the reality of women's lives on the ground in Canada. It's really, it's disappointing and frustrating.
I think that this government and the minister are working as hard as they can to stay away from the true economic issues that lie at the heart of women's continuing disadvantage in Canada. It ranges all the way from the missing and murdered Aboriginal women funding, which she confirmed is still going to be put into the hands of the law enforcement groups in Canada and not to Aboriginal women themselves. And she has stayed completely away from the fact that all of the wage gaps in Canada have been growing at a very alarming pace. Right now, the wage gaps are bigger than they were 20 years ago. Some of them are bigger than they were back in 1976. So things are definitely deteriorating for women in Canada, and the people who are most income challenged, people who have had the least access to education, are the ones who are paying the highest price. And to then try to turn the focus exclusively toward violence against women, which is an important issue, and treat it as the cause and the only real program focus for the government, in a way makes all women conspirators in the continued separation between women and men in pure economic terms. I'm very concerned about the future of women in Canada given this type of leadership.
Well, and it's like the lack of support for research, policy, and advocacy that Kate was talking about means that we don't have those types of counter arguments, except from excellent researchers like yourself, thankfully. But we don't have that kind of policy analysis, the alternatives to provide, and it really is making it very difficult to get women's voices out there to be heard. In contrast to the government's misinformation and cluelessness.
Well, that's exactly right. And for women to be able to come up with the funding to attend, to have done the research ahead of time, to find organizations that are willing to work with them is a very uphill battle. It's almost as if women have been pushed to the point of having to reinvent the women's movement in order to get somewhere.
But fortunately, we've got a lot of very strong feminists here, and the rebuilding has begun.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Good job.